So yeah, so good morning.
Morning too.
So my name is Pavanraj Chana, and as part of the We Cancervive cancer series under the ICI, we're going to be having a conversation with 3 cancer survivors or warriors, and we'll just give them their own time to introduce themselves and say something small. Yeah, so we can start off with.
Okay, I'm Penninah Akoth, 29 years old, breast cancer survivor.
Okay.
I'm Salome Adhiambo. I'm 60 years old, and I'm a breast cancer survivor.
Okay, I'm Elshama Ongonga. I'm 27 years old and a Gallbladder survivor.
Okay. So this is amazing. So would you call yourselves survivors only, or did you call yourselves warriors or something else you think?
Both are just okay.
Warriors is okay because we fought for this gangster that so many people fear. So I think warrior also can work.
That would work.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're also trying to, with different survivors, we always ask them, what do you call yourselves? And we always get interesting responses, but warrior seems to be the most popular term being used. So we'll just start off by, maybe we can start with Elshama. Could you tell us your journey from diagnosis and any your experience along the way?
Wow. Actually, my journey has been a difficult thing, but trusting upon the Lord, things went through. From the first time I was diagnosed and I was found to be having a cancer, it was something difficult, but another thing I came to realize is all about mentality. If you have something disturbing you and you put your mind on it, actually it's going to depreciate you down, it's going to pin you down. Yeah. So generally, if at all I've been found to be having a cancer, diagnosed to be having a cancer, it's something that just take it as a normal thing. Any normal disease.
So how did you present? Like, what was your complaints when you went to a doctor to seek help, and maybe how did you find out?
Okay, first it started with my turning of the eyes to be green. So when I was diagnosed, I was found to be having a cancer by then. So I had a swelling of my abdomen. There's a lot of water in it. So from that point is when
you went to the hospital.
I went to the hospital.
You had yellow to green eyes also.
Itching, and there was a lot of itching.
And the stool and the urine colors were different.
Yeah. Okay.
So how was it? What was the workup like?
Sorry?
What was the workup like? Did you come here to Jaramogi?
No. From the first point I went to West Kenya after a doctor, a friend of mine, told me it was something complicated. I should take it more serious. So my first point was Kenya, where I did my diagnosis. Then I went to Cancer Center in Nairobi, known as Texas. So from that point, I was referred to MTRH. So I was referred to MTRH, where I started my chemotherapy session.
Okay. And what kind of experience did you personally have with that? Going up and down, getting different views, going to different hospitals?
Generally, it made difficulties because it was about the finances. But things went all through very well. Through the MTRH, I was able to be given chemo, even though no cash, but actually I did there's something good that happened. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go to Salome and you can tell us your story.
Okay. My name is Salome Adhiambo. I'm one of the cancer warrior. At first, when it was diagnosed, it was in 2018. And at first, I had a swelling on the right hand of my breast. So it was itching so much until one day it burst, and then the fluids come out, and I was a bit relieved. So from there, the blood started just coming out occasionally most of the time. I really didn't want to open up to anybody, even my kids, even who. I just used to keep to myself, and I became very wild. And psychologically, I was very much disturbed. Thereafter, people used to advise me, go to the hospital, take this thing serious. But I didn't want to take it serious. So one day, through the radio, I just heard that the cancer people were doing free screening at Jaramogi here. So when I came here, the Chandaria people were here. So I was screened, and they said that I need to take a very urgent action, because already they took the sample from the breast. And then thereafter, they used to call me quite often, but I refused to pick the phone until one day when I was very much in pain. After 3 months is when I decided to start treatment. And I ignored Nani. Evelyn used to call me almost 7 times a day, but I didn't want to talk to her because of the fear. I could not open up because of the stigma and even the things people used to tell me. So the day I was fed up with my funny behavior, I just bought a vehicle, went to Nini, because already she told me that they need me in Eldoret urgently, if possible. But I refused to go. So I went to Eldoret, I met my daughter, was taken to Referral, and straight away they just started treatment, and that is how I met the empath people, and the treatment was very well. But at first I was very emotional. I didn't believe it. How did I get this disease, and why me, God? But once you trust in God and you believe that everything is possible, and the kind of the medication they used on me and the care, I'm very happy to be what I am now, because even by that time I could not eat, I could not even walk alone, and I was very thin. Then I started my chemo. That was the worst part of it. When all my the hair gone, everything turned black. Everywhere was just black as my dress here. That was another section when I started having a lot of frustrations again, because it's psychologically, because of the medicine. Thereafter, I picked up, after the 3 circles, I finished the 8 circles. Then I responded well. The Nini started healing that wound. It started just healing all of a sudden until it closed, except there is only one small part remaining now, but I used to go for dressing every day, and they used to cater for that. Financially, I had a lot of challenges, and even up to now still I have challenges, but they have really helped me. Then right now I'm still in Eldoret. I do go to Eldoret after 3 weeks, because I'm doing what we call homotherapy, and I've gone for 14 circles. It is supposed to be 18 circles. Then thereafter there is a medicine I'll use for 5 years. But I'm very happy, and I can testify that without those medicines, I don't think I could have been alive by now. And I also thank God, or I thank the empath people. They really counseled me until I came down and I relaxed that it is just a disease like any other disease. And I took it normal. Yeah, I am very happy. Yes, sometimes you can lack what to eat, or you can lack fruits, because we do use a lot of fruits which we used not to use before. But I thank God that those challenges, I'm trying to go through them here and there, but it is not an easy situation. But I really thank God. Yes.
So Salome has really told us a comprehensive experience.
Yes.
Touching on different aspects.
Yes.
Penninah, would you like to share?
Okay. Yeah, mine was, it's me who took myself to the hospital. I used just to have a lamp, a normal lamp. I took it as a normal thing. So I think it took quite some time, because when I shared with my ex, he told me that that thing used to be there. So I took myself to, in fact, I hid from school. Then I went to the doctor. Then I narrated my story. Then he told me that that thing can be cancer. Then I told him that even my cousin had the lump and it was removed. For me, I can't have cancer because none of my family members ever had that disease. So he told me to go and look for 5,000 so that he can purchase for me the biopsy gun. So I waited until end month. I was just composed. I waited until end month because I knew I did not have it. So I waited until end month. Then I took that money to him. He purchased it. Then I went to the hospital. In fact, during that time, I used to hide from school. I did not ask for permission because I did not want anybody to know. Even my family members, no one knew. So when I went there, he just cut it, though it was a bit painful after he cut it and then removed the samples. Then he gave me that sample, then told me to look for pathology. Is it pathologist?
Oncologist.
No, where you test pathologist.
Pathologist.
Yeah, so I came with it in Kisumu. I look where the pathologist is, then I took it. Then I waited for the result for like 3 weeks. It was during holiday, April holiday, and normally during holiday I go to Nairobi. So my sister, in fact, during that time is when I shared with my sister, but I told her not to share with anybody else. So my sister hid and went to that place where I took my sample. Then she was given the results. Then she refused. She told those people not to call me when I was in Nairobi about the result. So coincidentally, there is a relative who died with cancer. And she was a very old guy. So everybody in the house was crying, but no one shared with me about the results. Yet they were crying because of me. So after the holiday, I called those people. They told me to come and pick the results, though my sister is the one who had it, and take it back to Siaya District Hospital, because that is where I was. So I took the envelope. I did not open the envelope, but my sister insisted. She wanted to take me to Siaya, and I refused. I told her that it was me who took myself to Siaya, so it is me to go alone. She knew. In fact, she went ahead and informed others, but she did not inform my parents. So when I went to Siaya, the doctor was in the theater. He told me to wait. So I was just comfortably waiting with the envelope. So when the doctor opened the envelope, what fell was a receipt. Then I asked the doctor, kwani hii hosi penye nilipeleka waliweka mpaka receipt yenye nililipa? Akaniambia hapana, akasoma. Then he told me that this result we must go in a certain room so that we share. So we just went in that room, and he asked me, do you think you have cancer or you are free? Then I told him that of course I don't have cancer. The result it is negative because none of our family members have never heard of any family member having cancer. Then I don't know if the doctors are being taught psychology. He just broke the news that you have cancer. I started crying. Then I told him that at least he can show me where I can go and sit so that I think about myself, what I want to. So there is normally a place in Siaya District Hospital like this place here where you can go and sit. So I went there. Then I started crying. I called my sister, though my sister knew the result. I called her first.
She was not shocked.
Then I called my brother because my brother was a bit near. I think she called my brother about the result. So my brother was driving towards Siaya. So again, I called my cousin who is a clinical officer in Siaya District Hospital. But because there were two men who came to me, I could not continue crying. I just wiped my tears and pretended to be strong. Then they took me to Bondo. So when I arrived there, I met a surgeon. Then the surgeon told me that we must remove your breast. Of course, I felt it. The first thing they asked me, are you married? Do you have a child? We are going to remove your breast, but come the following week. Next week, I mean. Then I came out. We went and booked the day for operation. So when we were coming back home, my brother was driving me back. I told them that I cannot be operated in that hospital. In fact, I don't even like how the doctors treated me. So my cousin, the cousin of mine called. He told us that there is another medic who can operate me because cancer grew every day. So I told them, he called a doctor. Then the doctor told them that the consultation for cancer is 2,500. Then I told them, if it is 2,500, cancer is like a market. Those people just want money. Let us just ask anybody that has suffered from this disease so that they can tell us the journey that they used. So we waited until we buried that person who died. Then my sister, who is in Kisumu here, went and looked for an oncologist here in Kisumu. We went there. Then we went to the surgeon. The surgeon asked me if I'm ready for I told the surgeon that I'm ready for operation because I was told that thing will spread even to my lungs. So I feared. So when the surgeon told me before he removes my breast, he must do another sample. So he took another sample. Then I waited for 3 weeks. In fact, that time I used to pray a lot because I thought that the result can change. So I waited. After 3 weeks, I was called back. And when I was called back, I was told that the result was confirmed it was a breast cancer. Then I was told what I want. In fact, there is a doctor I went to. He told me that if you have a cancer, in fact, those days I used to play it. He told me that you will never be smart. You will never. In fact, once you've been diagnosed with cancer, even the dressing code, the strength will go. But I told him, for me, I know it will just be okay. So after that, we went, I waited for like 2 weeks. Then we opened the WhatsApp group because he told us that the medication is a bit expensive. So we tried and opened the WhatsApp group, and so many people knew me because it is when, I think it was 2 years after my graduation, my classmates, primary classmates, so many people contributed because they were, in fact, that pittiness. So after that, I came. After collecting the money, we went back to the surgeon. I was operated. Yeah, I was operated here in Jaramogi, Odinga teaching a referral. But though I was in Victoria is a branch of Jaramogi, though I was operated here. Yeah. Then after that, I started my chemotherapy, the 8th circle here. Then radiotherapy I did in Aga Khan. In fact, I was sponsored by AMPAD.
Aga Khan,
Nairobi.
So wow, you really elaborated on the story. But I'd just like to ask this general question. You've answered it, but what was your, Salome answered her view of cancer somehow, and also you thought it was familial and you didn't have it. But what was your view before? Just briefly explain your view before on cancer and what it is right now. Maybe we can start from Roman.
What was?
What is your view of cancer before and what is it right now?
How I used to take it.
Yeah, how did you look at cancer? Did you think of it differently compared to now?
Yes, at first I knew that cancer is a killer. It is a killing disease. Somebody cannot survive out of it. That is what psychologically, that is what I had in mind. But right now I know that somebody can survive from cancer, and so long as you are stable and steady and you take your drugs the way the doctor directs you, and once you maintain your feeding programs the way it is supposed to be, you can just survive for quite a long time. And it is at first it is not easy to open up. Once you are diagnosed with a cancer, the only thing you are seeing is just death. But it takes time to adjust. It really takes time. I have a positive answer for cancer right now, but at first I used to have a very positive answer towards cancer, because I just knew that once you are diagnosed with the cancer, it is just death. But there is life thereafter if you believe, and I believe that it is really a long journey. But once you have decided to make the journey the way you have decided, it is not difficult. Yes.
So I'll ask the same question to the others, but maybe they can also elaborate on who they thought was affected by cancer before, what they thought it was, maybe what they, like she mentioned that none of her family members had it, so she doesn't have it. So what did you guys think of cancer before? What did you think of how someone got it? Did you think it was transmissible? Did you think it was hereditary? Did you think it was because of certain foods?
To me, I knew cancer can just come if somebody is bewitched. That is the only belief I have. But our nini, how do I call it?
Lineage.
Huh? Our lineage. We are cancer ninis. We have cancer cells, because I have so many people who have died out of cancer from our family members. And
what about the others, Penninah, Elshama?
It's okay. Generally, let me put it. You asked a question about how did I behave, something like that.
Yeah, how did you view it before and now?
Okay, generally, when I had cancer, number one, what can kill you is your mind, how you think. That one can really pin you down. I took it as a normal thing. Although my family, some of the family members were a bit worried, but when I had cancer, I was never shocked. It wasn't in my mind that this disease was in me. I took it as normal. If I told you, could ask me what's happening to you, I could tell you nothing. So your mind, your thought is very, very important. It can pin you down, it can make you be okay. So when I had cancer, I actually said it's a normal disease, I'll get well. Something like death never came to me. I just took it as a normal thing, I'll be okay. So according to our family, I've never had anybody affected by cancer. Let me say I was the first one, according to my community, according to my family. So it's never affected me that much, because I didn't want to put my mind in it, my brain in it a lot. I never. So that's why even now I can tell someone who's having a cancer, never put your mind in it. Do other things as usual. Just believe you are going to be okay.
Yes.
So you never concentrate too much on it. That can make you go down, and at least then you'll be okay.
Penninah, how did you view cancer before? Did you ever think it would affect you? Okay, you mentioned that you thought it would never affect you or anyone in your family because no one else had it, but what did you think of it before? Like, what is your understanding of cancer?
Okay, before, in fact, I didn't know, I did not even have interest on anything about cancer because none of my none of my family members died on cancer or had that disease. So when I had it is when even my parents, even my close family members had the interest of knowing how that disease comes, where it came from, because the doctor told me that maybe I had inherited it from one of my family members. That is what I was told by the doctor the first time. So after that is when I was told that it was maybe it was due to hormonal imbalance or maybe due to family planning that us youths would keep on using. Yeah.
Okay, so that's just particularly breast cancer, or
That
was that your understanding for all of them?
the breast cancer, the cervical one, I was told as maybe because if you have HIV/AIDS, that is what I was told. Because I tried to inquire from the oncologist about them, so that at least I can share with the community about it.
Okay, so it's not particularly like just associated with HIV, but more of the virus HPV. But people who have uncontrolled HIV and with immunosuppression, because the immune system regulates cancerous cells, and if those cells are not present or are lower, then the chances of them prevailing is higher. So that's one of the elements to look at it. But it's not a direct outcome of having it.
Like
So-
me, at first I was told, one of the doctors whom I saw first, just within Kisumu here, before I came to Jaramogi Odinga, told me that because now I'm in a certain age, I cannot attend my periods. Now, normally it is very easy for people of my age to develop problems because of hormones imbalancing or what, such like. But not that it is. At first, he refused to tell me whether it is a cancer. He could not even disclose it to me. He just told me that, no, you'll just be okay, because I had a lump here, as I told you. But he said that one is just because of the periods. Mostly, some people react like that. So, I became so ignorant and I just took it normal.
Okay.
I didn't know what was coming next.
Okay.
Mm.
So
For about 1 year, with a lot of ignorance, I could not even come and diagnose whether it is cancer or it is what.
So I would just like to ask you questions on treatment. You mentioned them, but you mentioned that you all had chemo. How was that experience? Were you ever explained to what chemo is, how chemo works, what side effects you might encounter, and were you ever told even why it's necessary? Were you ever explained, or did you find out when you already started or when you already continuing chemo?
Chemo. Yeah, they told us the side effects
How it works?
before we started, how it works. Can I really
To some
remember
extent.
it? It was